SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome. The wait is over.
Let's get this thing started.
Go! Welcome, one and all across the nation and around the world. I welcome you all to episode 107 of the In or Out Sports Debate. I am your host, Drew Willingham, and we are back. My hair's a little bit longer. I think a little bit longer than last week when we talked about this. It's been growing pretty much since this show was conceived. 2020 was when this show was conceived, back in that June of that year. And now we're at episode 107. It is time that I introduce the young man himself back to this show. 5-time Vault of Fame inductee. Give it up for the man, my man, your man, everybody's man, the young man, Korrey, man. Welcome back to the show there, brother.
What's going on, Mr. Willingham? How you doing?
Hey, man, I'm feeling great. Feeling great today. You know, it's been great having you back on here today. We've been chopping up here in the green room beforehand. We got 5 great rounds to discuss, you know, throughout this show and throughout everything. You know, I know it's me versus you tonight. They can see it right here in the SIRTOBA Media Arena. Tonight, it is me versus you. Who wins? They decide in the comments. They let us know who wins. You got to tell us. I mean, we haven't even gotten started yet, and some people probably out there know that this guy sucks. They're going to vote me out already. Say you win. Just because you got the awesome graphic. Kyle Nash calling you Black Jesus. You already know about that nickname. He goes, ding, at the end of everything, at the end of that, too. And he's already dubbing the nicknames, bringing you in, is saying this is going to be a great episode. We already know it's going to be fire just because there's been 5 great episodes with you on it before. So I already know you're going to bring it. We got a team that you already know very well about, the Miami Heat we're going to talk about tonight, as well as the Atlanta Falcons, you know, their quarterback situation. LeBust, old Bron, you know, somebody I've given so much heat on. We're going to talk about him tonight too, brother. Talk about him. And the greatest to ever wear the number 7. Was it Michael Vick? Was it not? We got a whole lot to chop up on tonight's episode. But before we get started, we have to do something that we always do on every episode beforehand, and you know, and that is acknowledge the Vault of Fame.
Acknowledge me.
Man, you took me back. This is why this show was so important, and this is why I am personally validating and vouching for this show. If you are anybody in media, sports, professional wrestling, anything, you need to be on In or Out Sports Debate with my man, Drew Willingham, because this has got to be one of the most fun things I've ever done in a long time.
That right there is the In or Out Sports Debate Vault of Fame, brought to you by SIRTOBA Media, which you can find the show here on these platforms: Amazon Prime, Spotify, Google Podcast, Anchor.fm, which I think has changed its name already. I need to update that graphic, and iTunes, as well as you can find everything on SIRTOBA Media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube. When it comes to this show, we are at episode 107. We have 5 great topics to talk about tonight. We got to get this started with taking it into round 1.
Round 1.
Here with round 1, let's take it into a little bit of WWE action here and take it to the bloodline. Talk about Solo Sikoa will win a singles championship in WWE by the conclusion of this year's SummerSlam PLE. How do you feel about this one, Korrey? When it comes to the bloodline, you already know I'm rocking Lance Anawai's t-shirt right here. Talk about the bloodline. Talking putting the ones up. You gonna put the one up on this one and go in? Oh, he's putting it
This is in reference to the GOAT in Roman Reigns, okay? So when I put the one up, yes, it's in reference to the bloodline, unfortunately, but this version of the bloodline is out of line. And as it comes to that wonderful graphic, by the way, you did a splendid job on that. When it comes to this version of the bloodline, Solo Sikoa, I'm out on that. I'm out. Solo isn't in the right space of mind. Solo is at that point in his career where he has sat back, he's watched. And if you've been watching the bloodline the last 3.5 years, you noticed over time when Solo was introduced, I believe it was at Clash at the Castle. I'll fix my brain if I'm wrong here. But when Solo debuted, he didn't hardly say anything. I think within that first, 2 years, he probably spoke 5 words. And ever since Roman lost that Mania, all of a sudden, this man has a dissertation left and right. He's the biggest intimidation factor. He is the Mafia King now. He is the Kingpin himself. He has brought on Tama Tonga and his brother, and now he's formulating this new bloodline because he's only mocking what he has seen. Tonga Loa, for those that don't know. But he's only mocking what he has seen. He's only doing what Roman Reigns has given him an example of. But you know what it is with every arrogant young gun in these stories, Drew, who think they can come past the master, they end up tripping themselves up. So with the way they're going right now, I do not see Solo being a solo champion this year. Maybe sometime next year. But by SummerSlam, nah, I don't see it. Mm-mm.
You don't think so? And you're just talking about any singles championship. You're not talking we're talking about
any.
Okay. Any? Okay. All right. Well, it's early on in the show. It is time that I disagree with you, my man. I'm gonna go in. Korrey, man, there's so many championships. It feels like this company is flooding around. He's already been the NXT North American champion. All right. Which I think is hilarious that the man had to forfeit the championship when he came to the main roster. And then all of a sudden you got Dom winning the championship, and he can go back and forth and prance around all he wants to with his little purple do-rag and stuff, rolling around the ring, trying to do some things that old Rey Mysterio was doing before. I mean, he does do some sweet moves. He does. I got to give him his credit. He has been growing in his work. I got to give him a little bit of solid credit, but not good enough to do something that Solo Sikoa, he shouldn't have been able to be bouncing around that NXT North American Championship is what I'm saying. That is my whole point when it comes to that. Now, when you bring it back into Solo Sikoa, you've got multiple other championships that you can put him in. You've got the U.S. Championship, which at some point Logan Paul is going to have to drop it. Now, you see what Logan Paul's been doing with Cody Rhodes, and they're on the same show. They're all on the same show with the bloodline and everything. You're going to be able to see some type of interaction at some point. If this stable continues to go along the storyline and build its way up the way it has been, we've already seen it, evolve to what it has been over the course of the past 4 years. It's a storyline that has continued to go since the year 2020 when Roman Reigns came back to the WWE during the pandemic. So when you put all that in perspective, it tells me that if they're still continuing this, especially with Paul Heyman, at some point this is all going to clash and the story is going to continue to evolve one way or another. We'll break that down a little bit more later on when we get into the final word, because I know we got some other topics we want to break down. But I disagree because I see that he can either take the Intercontinental Championship, which he would have to go to Raw in order to do that. So more than likely that's not going to happen. He can potentially get the United States Championship if they keep building this bloodline stable up to be where they're the bad guys and going around doing things the wrong. And I see your point, though, to where, yeah, he can trip up because he's making too many mistakes one way or another, but they seem to be all powerhouses. So when I think about the way the WWE is building up to be powerhouses and the Samoan savages of the past, one way or another, if they want to try to trust Solo Sikoa with any type of run, they're going to have to see what he can do with a mid-card championship. And even though, Logan Paul's a little bit trying to, elevate the championship as much as it is, the U.S. Championship is a mid-card title. We all know that. We've all been, expecting that for many years now. And even though Solo Sikoa is not really, I would say, right at mid-card talent, if you really want to elevate the championship and elevate him to get him anywhere close to discussing World Heavyweight Championship contention at some point, you're going to have to give him some type of singles run and potentially maybe give the Tonga brothers, give them the tag team championships. They could easily beat those dudes that are on SmackDown right now, Grayson Waller and A-Town Down. They could easily beat them, but Solo doesn't need the tag team championship. He needs to have a singles run of some sort. Now, they'd have to do that within the next 90 days because, yes, SummerSlam is only a few months away. So I see your point. It's a lot to pull off in a few months. Is it possible? Yes, which is why I wanted to go in, because we're going to agree about something at some point on this show. But I started out hot. You were coming in speaking too much truth, speaking too much facts, and I had to do something to try to bring the fire and bring the entertainment to the people.
Well, you know what you did, Drew? You kind of convinced me a little bit, though. Because think about this scenario. What if Solo wins Money in the Bank?
He won't go after Cody, though. I don't think they're not gonna kill his story that quick. Like he would maybe Cody. Damian Priest, though, because he's young enough to rebound.
Or maybe Cody becomes a double champion and he takes the United States Championship off of Cody. No, it doesn't make sense, right? Because most people would say, okay, if you get the Money in the Bank contract, you're going for a world title. The Money in the Bank contract is for any title that you want. It is not just for a world title. So what if he does? Cody, gets the United States Championship. He's a double champion for a little bit. Solo wins Money in the Bank. Solo beats Cody. To rub it in Roman's face when Roman returns. I did something that you couldn't do. And you still want to come back and call yourself the tribal chief? That creates more dissension, because you can see, like, throughout the last couple of years, there's been certain moments when it was very tense between the two of them. Now, the ego is out. What they say to the young teenage kids when they come up, they smelling themselves. Solo smelling himself full-fledged now, right? So if he's able to get that title, it elevates the story to a whole nother level. And as you said, the Tonga brothers can easily get the tag titles off of, A-Town Down Under trash. Mm-hmm. I don't got a trash can in here. Oh, dang it. I'm short. Trash. I mean,
trash.
You've convinced me, Mr. Willingham. You've convinced me.
Oh, wow. Hey, guess who's here? Kyle Nash.
Hey!
Out the gate with Drew with the conflict, and it's not even Braun hate. Kyle Nash, if you want to see conflict, you need to see Cole Johnson's response to your challenge on Total Football Talk. I haven't had a chance to clip it out early because I went from that needing a break and then having this great show right now. But just while you're here, Kyle Nash in the comments, just letting you know, at some point, go back and see that. If I don't get that clip to you first, go find it. Cole Johnson, I can do this with my voice, had a response to that. So you go back and see that, Kyle Nash, while we are acknowledging these comments before we move to far into the show. Ike is here. Ike doesn't give a fuck is here. Says, yo.
Ike.
I think Ike, around the time that Ike started becoming a loyal fan, was around the time it was one of your first appearances on the show. I don't know if it was the first time, but it was like the second time, like episode 20, whatever it was. It was somewhere in there. And Ike has been around since then. So shout out to Ike for being here on this day and says,
Shout out to Ike.
Says Black Jesus is in the house, as Kyle Nash, the one that gave you that name, is here to even respond to that.
Check this out. So I don't have those lovely locks anymore, y'all. That is based off of an older picture. So I'm no longer Black Jesus at the moment. I'm more like Disciple Korrey at the moment.
He's still a part of the tier. He's still a part of the tier. I'll give him my hair when I'm done. When I cut it, we can get on back in. Live the name. Get right back and ready to roll. So. But we got some ones up. We got some ones.
Hey, that's my family. That's my brother right there. What's going on, bro?
Hey, shout out you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you guys would be awesome and do me a favor and subscribe now and never miss out on new content, I greatly appreciate it. We got plenty of wrestling, plenty of football, basketball, even real life stuff. If some of you out there even smoked the ganja, we talked about ganja last night and the reclassification of, the Controlled Substances Act with that. So for the potential, go back and see it. It's pretty interesting or whatnot. We had some interesting conversations with people in the chat. We got Mickey Delaney in the house saying, what's up? We got another one of our loyal fans out here in the chat. We call him the comment cop out here in these streams. He,
oh my God.
If you're not in your lane, he will tell you to get back in your lane. Sometimes throw some 4-letter words out there, Korrey, man. It's not a pretty sight when he gets ramped up. So behave around Mickey out there, you guys. He'll tell you off. He is, the comment cop. This is the nicest way to put it. He's not a troll. Comment cop. He is. He hasn't won a single title since John Cena.
As far as solo goes, I mean, yeah.
He lost to John Cena. Yeah, because he had to give over the championship. I think I see where you're going with this. Forfeit the NXT American Championship. Then he had the run where he was hot, where he was on a roller. He hadn't lost. I think John Cena was the one that ended his hot streak, and he's kind of been floundering around ever since.
He hasn't won a match since then.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of stinks.
Wow. Yeah, that's absolutely wild. It's a fact, but it's something you don't really think about, when you're watching. Like I was watching the beginning of Raw earlier. I'll go back and watch the rest later, but looking at that, you don't think about this stuff about people's losing streaks. I mean, even though he's on Friday night now, that's something you don't really think about that much until somebody brings it up. But definitely a good one. Some more fam up in the house supporting you up in here, putting the ones up, putting them on up right now. As we also got the introduction of Fatu is what's going to mess up Solo low key. So Jacob Fatu, you think, is going to come in and mess it up? You think they're going to have the diamond effect where they have the 4 of them up in there? Which we haven't seen Jacob Fatu yet. There's been all this hype, but he's not there.
I think he's going to show eventually. And, even though, Solo has been taking on that role of, let's say the current day Umaga, right? I think because of his elevated state of awareness now, he's going to kind of, pass that along to Fatu. Fatu is going to be a whole different animal. And I don't even know what Samoan I can really compare him to right now, because the stuff that he does in a ring is insane at his size. So I don't even think I'm doing him justice by calling him Umaga, even though Umaga was uber athletic. This guy's different.
The difference between Umaga's run and now with Jacob Fatu is the schedule isn't as demanding from what it seems like. I mean, things are a little bit more balanced now. Now that the WWE's been sold and it's, the merger with UFC, TKO, it's got a lot more balanced, schedule. They're taking a lot better care of the health of now they call them legit athletes because they are. Yes, the ending of the match is predetermined for the most part, except for some things that do change on the fly. But overall, got to be athletically gifted to get through these type of matches because there's a lot that goes on and there's a lot of work. It's just like people, perfecting their craft no matter what it is. But yes, Solo definitely is going to get a little bit knocked around when it comes to the Fatu man himself, Jacob Fatu, jumping up in there. And says, I could see that.
I think he's in reference to the Money in the Bank situation.
That is a good call because, or just CM Punk return by Money in the Bank. He's, he was part of the early history of it.
Yeah, it's so many. That's the beauty of what's going on right now, though, in the world of wrestling. Like, you just don't know. And it's been some years, like, since we've had it to where you're like, okay, I have a thought, but I don't really know. So I love it.
Yeah, there's so many different angles they can go with these different stories that are popping up. So, and there's a lot of young talent. There's still a lot of talent that's been there that seems like forever, but they're still fairly young. You see what AJ Styles is doing out there. There's a lot of different things, a lot of different equations they can go with these stories up in there.
Damn, AJ Styles, huge as hell, man. Golly, that man's huge.
Kyle Nash says, look at Korrey with the headband as not to show up with the host's hair. What a show of respect to show up my hair. He wants to let me have my moment. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, I got the headband on too, so we're matching. We got matching headbands on tonight. So we're rocking and rolling. We may not have the long hair because I was hoping we could be rocking one more episode with hair. We've done it before, but it lives on with the headbands. We'll just keep the headband thing going. But Kyle Cole called you out. Yeah, he did. That's it. We brought that up earlier. Cashing it for USA title will diminish the Money in the Bank briefcase. Remember that already happened before with Austin Theory. So it's already been done once.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't think it diminishes it. I think it just adds to that story. Like any type of solo title that you can get on Solo Sikoa right now would help elevate that bloodline story that's been going on for years now.
And I think when Austin Theory had it and cashed in for the U.S. Championship, Roman had both titles by that point, didn't he? Mm-hmm. He had both the Universal and the WWE Championship. So, and every time he kept trying, he tried a little bit, but they kept writing the story to where like he would get so close and like he'd get knocked out, and then like he couldn't continue on with the cashing in of the Money in the Bank. So here we are. So the next best thing was the U.S. Championship. So. Yeah. Disciple Korrey, print the T-shirt now. We might have to. If we can still work this out with this thing we were talking about behind the scenes, I might be able to work a deal into that. Get the Disciple Korrey shirts rocking and rolling. We got some SIRTOBA Media shirts rocking and rolling. Might have to get the Disciple Korreys out there. Of course, we will definitely work out the proceeds. I'm not too worried about that. I just want to get the shirt printed to get you rocking and rolling back on these airwaves on a consistent basis. Again, whatever I can do to help support my man, the young man out here getting back on the airwaves on a regular basis. I got your back, brother. And my man Gregory Murray's in the house. Oh, G Murr, up in the house, says, wow, how y'all doing to play Solo like that, man? Don't do him like that. Apparently we can't do him like that.
He's not taking Cody's title, so we all can just, wish for the fish to jump out of water and fly, and $1 million to fall out the sky, but it's not going to happen. So it's not going to happen.
Do you think we get a clarification this Friday of the whole, like, is it going to be title versus title with him and Logan Paul, or is it just going to be?
I think we do.
I think it would evolve the story a little bit. Because it would make him a Grand Slam champion if Cody wins the championship.
Yeah.
And then
if he gets double titles, he's not going to hold it long.
Yeah. It could be Murray was talking about the fact that if he gets the Money in the Bank, like don't do him like that to kind of diminish his his world championship, that being Solo. If that's what you mean, let me know here in the comments. If that's what you're kind of talking about, that because that's what I'm kind of guessing. Like and depending on how you do it, it kind of cheapens it. He says he's going to be the next Dave Bautista, as long as he doesn't cry his way on out of the company like he did. Like take my ball, go home, and then come back for that one retirement match just so he can end it on a better note. With trips,
he couldn't even get in the ring.
He couldn't. It was pretty sad. It was pretty sad. It was terrible. Wait, do I even have that clip on here? think I might. Yeah, dude.
That's terrible.
You know the shenanigans were coming. You know you have to.
Acknowledge me.
I'm surprised I waited 25 minutes to get this thing started with shenanigans.
Damn!
There it is. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the fun. Solo is going to be the next person to make a major impact like Logan Paul. I can agree with that. I mean, at some point, and I think that the way that they're building this bloodline backstory with bringing in new elements to it, bringing in the Tongas, and then you got Jacob Fatu at some point. I'm going on a limb and still throwing out support for Lance. I got Lance's shirt right here. He is Roman's cousin and shares the same last name. And it's pretty damn good. I've seen him live, and I've talked to him on the streams. You go back and see that. It's on the old Legacy Maker Sports Network from the time when I was working with them and posted that on there. But you can go see what Lance did. Go see the things that he's done to get up to this point. And even beyond that video we did, he deserves a chance. He only had that one opportunity that I've seen and that he's confirmed where he was on screen with Roman and had that squash angle with Shane O'Mac, back in 2016 or 2017, or it might have been later than that. It might have been 2019. I can't remember right off the top of my head. But what I will say is he deserves a chance to be a part of this bloodline story because he is. And they acknowledged him when The Rock and all them were on the stage. It was the Super Bowl announcement of WrestleMania 40, and you saw the family tree up there. Yeah. He's on there. He's fourth generation. Give the man, his opportunity, but I don't know. It's all political from what it seems like. And that's how it is with a lot of things out here in these streets.
I mean, it might be if you think about it, Drew, if you have the two Tongas, you have Solo, you have Jacob Fatu, then on the other side, you have Roman and the Usos. Who's the fourth person?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. So, I mean,
still might be a chance.
It might be a chance. It could, but at the same time, they're going to kayfabe it all up. You're not going to get any straight answers about it until it actually happens. So even back when I talked to him, I mean, it's been, over a year now, the last time when we really talked about it on the stream here. When I saw him in December in Philly, I got up with him, did a quick 4-minute interview, which I still got to post on the stream at some point. And saw his match and everything, saw the whole card that night, talked to him for a little bit. It wasn't like you and I sitting up here where we could sit here for over an hour or so and talk live and all that stuff and chop it up. It was kind of quick because there's so many other people around us. But when it comes to Solo, though, he could potentially, like Murray's saying here, be the next person to make a major impact like Logan Paul. Not with the energy drinks, not with Prime and all that stuff, and not with the the body armor competition for the hydration. But he's part of a legendary story. He's been a part of this company and many other companies for over 40, 50 years. Their history in that bloodline is definitely very thick and thin. If Solo gets a title, how long does he hold it? That's a good question. What do you think, Korrey?
I think I don't see him dropping it until around Mania season. Somebody could cost him the title. That's the only way I see him losing it, because I think he's going to go on a hot streak. As much as he's been losing since that match with John last year in Saudi, he's about to go on a hot streak. They're about to make this man white hot. So I can, if he gets a title, I can see him holding it till Mania season.
That's a good call. I don't think it's going to be a world title. I think it's going to be the U.S. Championship, or for some way, somehow he gets over to Raw and gets his hands on the Intercontinental Championship. I just think we're more than likely going to see him with the U.S. title.
I know I'm a little bit ahead of myself, but I see a comment and it made me think of something.
What's that?
Who is holding the Intercontinental Championship right now?
Sami Zayn. Yes. But with the draft, and because he's on Raw, and then you got the Bloodline on SmackDown, because they're kind of been a little bit more strict on the whole jumping back and forth unless you have a free agent, I guess, which
Bloodline do what they want to do.
Roman will, because he'll technically be a free agent when he comes back because he wasn't drafted.
But if he has the Money in the Bank briefcase, though, it don't matter what show they on.
You think he'll cash it in the Money in the Bank for an Intercontinental Championship run?
Hey, we seen it for the U.S. title. I mean, I can't deny it.
You got a good point there. If we're talking about how, I mean, it did add layers to it when they cashed in, when Austin Theory cashed in for the United States Championship. But I just think that now with Damian Priest cashing it back into the World Championship, it kind of rights a wrong during the Vince McMahon era, because it's always been for a World Championship or the WWE Championship. One of those two titles, that thing's been cashed in for up until that Austin Theory blunder, and there wasn't many that didn't win the match either. So, I think that if Solo wins the Money in the Bank, he would go after Cody at that point, or go at that point, if you're the Money in the Bank, if he would go probably to Raw and take that championship. But the Bloodline wouldn't be able to come with them because only he would be able to go. So they would throw a different curveball into the story there too. So
Man, he got Paul Heyman on his side. He makes something shake in the background.
yeah, hey, there it is. That's a good point too. The wise man shaking the tree. Says, in retrospect, if you give Solo a title, then when does Jay get his flowers as a solo champ? That's a good point.
Gonna be praying on that.
Hey, he's been up there in the discussions for the World Championship over there on Raw, and he's come so close, and yet so far. I think at some point we can see Jay with the championship too, but I don't see him going like against Cody or anything like that. I think there's a good chance that it would be. I don't think SummerSlam is going to happen. I think Cody holds the championship till a minimum Royal Rumble, and history could repeat itself. The Rock's going to go after Cody at some point. The Rock beats Cody at Royal Rumble, and then Roman wins the Royal Rumble that night, and then challenges The Rock for the championship at WrestleMania 41. You get your match with The Rock at WrestleMania 41, and you get to have that opportunity to where, Roman beats him to cement himself as the best in the family and wins the championship back. And then, at some point, maybe give Cody a break until SummerSlam. Then you take the title off of Roman again. Roman doesn't need to have the championship for 3 years again when he wins it again. He's going to win it at some point. It's guaranteed. Just the way the story has been going. Will he do it as a heel or a baby face? That will be the question. And if there will be a double turn in heel and face between the two of them, between Rock and Roman, if this happens. I just have a feeling that's the way it's going to work out, because The Rock already said he was coming for Cody last time they interacted the day after WrestleMania.
But see, here's the thing, like, we're leaving out, right? The level of tribal chief in their family has such, resonation with their family. That title holds so much in their family. It's more than an actual championship for them, right? And I think what's going to end up happening is Rock, I think he's going to probably win the title at some point, right? Because it adds to that bloodline storyline. Roman gets jealous, whatever. But for me, I don't think he should win the title. I think he should lose. But when Roman finds out that he was the one calling the shots the whole time that Roman was gone, bad blood, man. Solo ain't doing this by himself. Solo got somebody telling him what to do. And I'm going to leave it there. We can talk about that another day.
You bring up a solid point, because I feel like that has been going on too, where The Rock's been pulling some strings without Roman being there. And, because Solo can't do it on his own, but he's probably been the one giving Solo the confidence to talk. I wouldn't say the confidence, but give him more of a floor to speak, because like you said, the man hadn't said but only a few things in between, when he first came onto the roster and then right after this WrestleMania situation. So definitely a good, but there's something to talk about here in the future. I like how you kind of switch it on up like that. Murray says, Bloodline entering the new Bloodline, like the little brother and cousin Bloodline is pissed at the old order's brother and cousins. Yes, I like that. That's face. Logan Paul's trash. Is it at the older brothers and cousins is what he meant to say. Yep, that makes a little bit more sense now looking back on it. Bring back in Sammy for his fourth.
I think that can happen. They're baby faces. Roman comes back as a baby face. I can see it.
Yeah, it could. It could. That would be sweet. What's up, Dante? Dante's back in the house. Been checking in with Total Football Talk. Was here last night for D. Willie in the evening. We were talking about some things up in these streams as well. And right now it says random with Jake Paul, Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor, and we are at the point in combat sports where the belt doesn't matter anymore.
It's called cinema. Cinema. I love it.
You gotta get the eyes on the product. You gotta reel them in somehow. So you gotta have the headliners, you gotta have the mid-carders, you gotta have the opening draws. This is what it's all about when it comes to bringing everybody in. But it's an awesome first round talking about professional wrestling. Look where we went from that. We're just talking about solo. That was a pretty long one. I know the other rounds won't be quite as long, but hopefully they will be just as fun. I know they will. We got 4 more to go. Let's take it to round 2.
Round 2.
Talk about a little bit of NFL action here. Team Korrey knows quite well the Atlanta Falcons would be wise to trade quarterback Taylor Heineke as soon as possible to benefit everyone currently with the team. Korrey, how do you feel about this one when it comes to old Taylor Heineke?
I know my brother J.O. about to go crazy in the comments behind this because he's a Falcons fan too, but I am out on this. Ever since the old trade of Matt Ryan to the dirty Colts and they did my boy dirty, we haven't had a quarterback. And if you are just stuck under a rock, ate too many potato chips, whatever it is, and you did not pay attention to the Atlanta Falcons this season, there was one astute issue with the Atlanta Falcons, and that was the most important position in all of sports, quarterback. Our quarterbacks were trash.
Facts.
Absolute trash. Doo-doo. Whatever you want to classify it as, they should have not have seen the field. Arthur Smith, great guy, got what he deserved. I'm sorry. But this situation here with the Falcons right now, at first, on draft night, I was that person that said, what the mother father, as you would love to say, Drew. And my eyeballs about popped out of my head. Now, I was not okay after day after. Some people were like, I slept on it. And the next day I was like, It took me a couple of days to really, it took me a few days to really kind of soak it in. And we got another quarterback named Michael that's left-handed that really worries me. Number 2, shout out to Michael Vick, though. Number 2, he has a very serious injury history, which makes me wonder why did we draft him at number 8? Draft him at number 8. And then thirdly, he seemed to show out great. He got the Washington Huskies to the national title game this past year, even though they got obliterated. But he showed up though.
Yeah, he did.
So, he showed up. He showed leadership. He took a beating, and I feel like he needs all the tutelage that he can get over the next 2 years. Even though Kirk Cousins signed with a 4-year deal or whatever, it's really a 2-year deal because of guarantees. And in the NFL, they'll drop you like a bad habit real fast. The only conundrum I can see is the fans. I think the Falcons organization will take care of it pretty decently, and make sure that's why Raheem came out and said, hey, Kirk, you are the starter. Make sure we make this clear right off the bat. Don't get no inklings. Don't think about nothing. But clearly they drafted Michael Penix as a futuristic move. Now, I didn't agree with it because we need defense, but our defense was 11th in the league last year. So it's not like our defense was trash whatsoever. Right? So we got to make sure that we do what we got to do to take care of the future. If this works out, hindsight is 2020, people will be like, oh, I was wrong. Yes, you were wrong. But if it doesn't work out, then some people are going to lose their job. So Terry Fontenot. So, it's going to be some things going down. But I don't think they should trade Heineke. I think Heineke is a good piece of experience that can help out. And between Kirk and Heineke, I think they can get Penix up to speed.
Speak a lot of great facts in there from someone who's been around and seen this team for quite some time. And for that reason, and I was already seemingly convinced before, but you threw the icing on the cake. I'm going to agree. I'm out as well. Yeah, Korrey threw some solid points up there, guys. When you think about the fact that you've got, a new quarterback coming in, Kirk Cousins, one coming off an injury, right? With the Achilles coming on up in here, he's getting paid a lot of money. You're on the hook for a lot of money for the next 2 seasons at least. And you got Michael Penix Jr., who again has had his history of injuries in college. However, he has gotten to some great heights, and he was a highly touted quarterback. So, that's why he was drafted as high as he was. Feel like they should have taken Rome Odunze, to be honest, to give you a little bit more depth in wide receiver, get another weapon for Kirk Cousins or Taylor Heineke, who, Heineke is proved to be a solid backup, a solid plan B if you need somebody to finish a game. Not really somebody that you can really rely on to play through and through from the first game on to weeks 18 when you get to your 17 game. And yeah, you get a bye in there, but you still play 17 games. And Taylor Heineke proved in his time with Washington, or at least through that point, that he wasn't ready to quite be a starter. He had some flashes and did okay in some moments, but consistency is key, and he wasn't consistent. And that's the same thing that you have here with Atlanta. You can't really rely on him to be your starter and be consistent. What you can do is expect the knowledge that he has, that if you really do believe that Michael Penix Jr. is the future, like Korrey said, there's knowledge up there that he has that Michael Penix Jr. doesn't have yet that he can help him with. Same thing with Kirk. Plus, your third string quarterback, or even if he is the second string and then Michael Penix is the third string quarterback, he's going to be able to spend more time to help develop the young quarterback than what Kirk will. Because Kirk, you're going to be watching him do more stuff and maybe asking him some questions, but you're not going to have as much one-on-one time with Kirk as you would with Taylor Heineke. So if you really want to have a solid quarterback room and have options, because again, like Korrey was saying, it's great to have him in there for the chemistry and help build him up and everything. But the big thing is you don't even know what you're going to be able to get for 17 games if Kirk can stay healthy, for one, because he's older, if the injuries haven't taken too much of a toll, hopefully not, because then you're on the hook for some money. Or two, Michael Penix Jr., you might not want to throw him to the Wolves yet if you have to put somebody in place of Kirk. So you got an insurance policy with Taylor Heineke. You don't have to pay him much either, and it works out. You're not going to get much in trade compensation for him either if you do trade him, so you might as well keep him at this point. So I agree with Korrey. I'm out on this one. I don't agree. I think that it's time to hold on to him, at least for this season.
Heineke is on like $1.5 million, and I think that they had eliminated his $40,000 per game bonus. But now he's back at, they gave him a signing bonus of like $1.32 million. So, basically $2.5 million that they're paying Taylor. Let it go. It's one season. Let it go. Let's get the kid developed and get him ready to go.
Absolutely. And with that being said, we got some comments that came in as we were going through this round. And Melvin says, "What's up, fellas?" Melvin just dropping on up in here. Along with Sick Diggies in the house saying the In or Out Sports Debate is brought to you by Slackjaw VPN. The VPN for slacking off. Slackjaw VPN for the slacking. Be smooth. And Peanut Butter and Jealous, brand new 80s style cashew butter and raspberry beret. What in the...
Whoa.
yeah, I'm getting closer to saying the words. If I'm not even saying Father, I'm getting that close. We're close. Come on, Sick Diggy. Let's reel it back in a little bit. Dante says he's out. You have to have a veteran backup for 3 games max.
Keep the veteran all year. The rookie don't need to play.
Well, you think he means he's going to have to play in 3 games.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, because, you're going to have him in there. If you give Penix any time, garbage time towards the end of the year, when you need to be resting players towards your playoff run, if it's like the third quarter and you're up by 17 or something, you can put the young guy in. Figure that out.
For sure.
So, but definitely great things there. Oh, even one more comment. This goes back to wrestling, so we'll entertain it real quick. Will we see the Wyatt 6 versus the Bloodline? You know, Korrey, this is something. It's kind of a touchy subject a little bit because you and I are both huge Bray Wyatt fans. This is actually one thing that's even brought our friendship even closer. In time that we've known each other, like we're both huge Bray Wyatt fans. He's got his stuff on his shelf right there with the Fiend, and I got my Bray Wyatt painting over here that I got when I was in Philly last December. So, we're huge, and of course, the action figures up there, just like
there.
yeah. So I got two. You can see both of them. Yeah, you got the Fiend and then the Mr. Rogers version of Bray Wyatt. But with that being said, will we see Uncle Howdy led Wyatt 6 versus the Bloodline at some point? You think we can see that?
Depends on how the story goes. By the way, I have photos of Bray up here too. So when he came back, it's hard to see because of the glare.
The mask on the left.
The mask on the left when
I
he
can
first
see that.
came back. And
The light kind of takes the other one out, though.
Yeah, and this is the Royal Rumble. I'll show it to you another time.
Yeah, no, you're good. But no, that's awesome,
Yeah.
though. Yeah, I definitely want to see that. But yeah, the light kind of throws the second one off. But you could tell the mask, like the newer version of Bray, that mask. I don't have any of that paraphernalia or anything, but I got the original Fiend, and then of course his Mr. Rogers version Bray Wyatt, and then the original Bray Wyatt in the paint. So
you gotta love it. You gotta love it.
And then you got the championships there too. So we got some good decoration back here for you guys. But to the original question, yeah.
Now, as it pertains to Uncle Howdy, I am interested in seeing where they go with Uncle Howdy. It's reeking when you're looking at the QR codes, which we probably missed one tonight too, but we'll go back and look at it. But with the QR codes, like, it's reeking of revenge. And if you're an avid Bray Wyatt fan and you saw when he went from, just that cult leader, I'm looking for followers, follow me, I'm going to take you to the promised land. This very, very provocative way of speaking and getting people to believe in him and follow him to, okay, you left me in the dark. You left me here to deal with my own demons. And now that demon is coming for you in the version of the Fiend, which was all about revenge until stupid Kennedy McMahon decided to put his hands into the situation. We're not going to get into that tonight. But can I see it? Yes. Can I see it? Absolutely. Do I really want it to happen? No.
I like that stupid Kennedy McMahon. I'm gonna have to dub that. I'm gonna have to say, brought to you by young man, stupid Kennedy McMahon. I like that one. Because there's some people out there, especially my friends in the wrestling realm, they don't want to say his name. They want to risk getting sued or something. But they're like, that guy. They're just like talking about that guy right there. Because he's in a world of what. And there's so many different turns with that story that keep coming about. It's going to be interesting to see how that ends, but it's pretty much ended the fact that he's no longer in charge. He's no longer in charge at all. And 6 says, fair enough, I'm too tall in my purple, and purple's not my color. What are we talking about?
I got a feeling Sick Diggy was the one that you and I was going in on the last episode we were on together.
Sick, we do have fun back and forth with Sick. Sick has definitely been... Stick is like the Tony Reali of the show. Like, have you seen like Pardon the Interruption or whatnot?
Yeah,
where like
I love that show.
Yeah, where you have the fact checker at the end. Sick is like the fact checker. He helped us out with Total Football Talk earlier. Helps us out all the time, bringing in the facts, and that's definitely what happened with that one. And he says, at least the old fart didn't try to do the muscle man dance. Yes, absolutely.
Technically, he did.
He was a part of that. The puppet. Yes, indeed. Was that transition a total
surprise, motherfucker?
And sports mixed together.
You got the right one, baby.
Rookie of the year. Time to go back to the Henry Rowan Gardner era. Back in the 90s. Y'all know what's up if you were growing up in the 90s. You've seen that movie, right? And as always.
You like that? You like that?
You know you do. That's why you're here. Appreciate you tuning in. So
That's our new QB.
yeah, it is. But he did that in my uniform, so we have that great clip. So you got to pay homage. But and Sick Diggy says I stand corrected then. Oh, you guys are bringing some great things here in the chat. We appreciate you. We're going to go to round 3. After round 3, we'll go to our one and only commercial break. However, before we go to round 3, just like last week when we had to announce the young man's return to this show. That breaking news is this. Next week, Trios episode as Championship Culture's Hugh Scott and Brandon Guy return to the program. We'll be talking more wrestling, a little bit more football maybe, but mainly some professional wrestling as, you know, it's kind of tailored a little bit more to Mr. Guy. Mr. Guy pretty much is into the wrestling, doesn't really talk much other sport like myself and young man here and others do. So just like you saw the last time it was here, it was a unique experience. It was fun. But if you love professional wrestling, I swear it's all going to be about mainly next week, except for the By the Numbers segment, which he's going to have to do some research on that. I'm not budging on that one, bro. Not budging on that one. Just having fun up here for this episode. But I will see you guys next week for episode 108. But most importantly, right now, we're here for episode 107, and we got a few more rounds left. We'll see you guys here on the other side of this transition.
Round 3.
Here with round 3, the Miami Heat won't be contenders next season without a blockbuster trade this offseason. Now, we talked about this guy potentially getting traded to this team the last time you were on here, Korrey. If I remember right, the last time we were on here, we were talking about the Heat and how it'd be best for them to make a move. And, you know, just talking about Bray Wyatt, we got the let me in right here, you know, with all that being said. When you think about this, a team that you and I both know very well, that being the Miami Heat, what are your thoughts? Are you in or are you out on this one?
Technicality. I am in. But not in the way that Mr. Willingham put it. I don't think we need to make a trade at all. I think the Damian Lillard trade has come and gone. It's out of here. We do not need another guard. What we need is someone either at the 5 position, so Bam can play the 4, or we get someone to play the 3. And I can think of a guy that could possibly opt out down in Phoenix who doesn't mind getting buckets that can change the game even at his starting to be senior age, one named Kevin Durant, that we could possibly bring in to help this team. Our team overall is one of the most balanced teams in the league, up and down. And I don't care what anybody says. We can go and like literally have a bare knuckle fight if you want. Eric Spoelstra is the best coach in the league, and it is a doggone shame. And I know it's a family-friendly show, Drew, so I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna bleep it out. So it is a doggone shame that Eric Spoelstra does not have a coach of the year. Not one.
He should have.
This man made it to the finals last year with an 8th seed, which has never been done in the league.
Facts.
Get back into the playoffs again this year off of a play-in. And even though I already knew what our fate was, especially once Jimmy got hurt, because that's the intimidation factor for the Celtics, at least we pulled out one game, but I already knew what our fate was because we came with the same crap we did last year. I'm getting sick of this now. We got to do something different, Pat. I know you run the show in Miami. You're the godfather. You have many titles, and I trust you. You have won at every level, player, coach, executive. I trust you, man. But get off of your hands. Get your butt up, and let's spend some money. Go and get that game-changing player. Jimmy Buckets doesn't need to be Jimmy Buckets. I need Jimmy Buckets to be the lockdown defender that he once was before. And every once in a while, bro, come and drop 30 for me. He doesn't need to do that anymore. Go get somebody specifically. Defense is not our problem. Our problem is we can't score. And then we keep getting injured. So can we please, Mr. Riley, go and get one 7 foot, can do anything on the floor, can nobody stop him, Kevin Durant, and add him to this Miami team. We don't have to do anything else. Leave it as is. But if you insert Kevin Durant into this picture, you cannot tell me that the game has changed. Not just in the Eastern Conference, but in the entire NBA. And under Spoelstra's tutelage? Come on, man. Come on. But yes, Miami needs to do something. They got to do something. Like this ain't working.
So you agreed with it. You just don't think that old Dame's gonna come on over. You'd rather see KD.
I just, like, at this point, I just don't want another guard. We have guards. Guards aren't our issue. If Dame was a 7 foot small forward, power forward that can get buckets over anybody that stands in front of him, I'll be all game for it. I wanted Dame last year, to keep it real with you, because Dame is cold. He don't care what the moment is. He don't care what it looked like, whatever. At least Durant is a little bit better of a defender. He's longer. He can block shots. He can get out in transition. Like, Durant can do more than Dame. And I love Dame as a player. But we got to do something. Not via trade. I think we should just wait, see who comes available in the offseason, and then we need to go after one player.
You bring up some solid facts there, my man. And I definitely agree with a bunch of them. And I agree with the main fact that they do have to make some moves. They want to be contenders because, again, they got as far as they did recently as the 8th seed, like you said, last year. And then, of course, we already know with what happened this year. But with all that being said, I'm going to go in as well. I do agree with Korrey on the fact that, yes, you don't necessarily need to make a trade to build this team up. Plus, if Dame was like 25, 26, then I could argue it, but he's a little bit older now. And like he said, you need to have some more size. And it's not going to cut it if you have another guard just straight come up in there. And there's other notable free agents that you could definitely look at when it comes to around the league. You got centers that are definitely free agents this year that you can look at. You've got, forwards you can look at as well. And, Boban Marjanovic is probably one that I would look at is a center that, even though he's older, he wouldn't cost you too much if you wanted to make that move and bring him in, if you wanted to get a little bit more size down there in the post. But again, the next person that you bring up, and I'm not trying to put that person up there over someone like KD, but if you can work out a deal with bringing in KD, that would be nice and all, but he hasn't been able to do anything meaningful since he left Golden State. That's the one thing that I'm concerned about, because with what he's done in Brooklyn, with what he's done with Phoenix, okay? If the Phoenix Suns had won a championship or something, that I'd say, and he's going to move and try to do something somewhere else, I'd say I'd be all for it. I'm a supporter of the Miami Heat too. And if we get the KD that was, the leader within the Oklahoma City Thunder and someone that was a big part of why they won those 2 Golden State championships when he was there, even though I still say he couldn't have done it without him. But then you could also say that the Golden State Warriors would have 2 less championships because they probably wouldn't have been able to get them without him for those 2 seasons either. So the shoe does go on both feet. However, with Miami Heat, it would work out pretty decently because of the overall core's age. They're not that they're a younger core for the most part. They don't have a team that costs way too much in salary, so they do have the flexibility to work within it for the most part. I just think that if you go and you trade for Dame, just like you saw, it didn't really work out for the Bucks this year in the way that they had anticipated overall, because we're already talking about potentially him getting moved because of the outcome, but you also had Giannis's injury and all that stuff played a factor and all that too. So putting this into perspective, overall, I agree with you, Korrey. Like, I think that Dame would not be the necessary best answer, especially because you have all those guards, for one. But for two, I don't think that KD, even though it does sound good on one hand, I don't know if it would be the answer, but at the same time, looking around at your options in free agency too, they do have some pieces they can bring in for size, but I don't know if they can even bring in a piece that's better than KD this offseason. So as much as I would want to have something that's better than KD, something that's more consistent, isn't as much of a crybaby at times, isn't a troll with the burner accounts on social media like KD can be at times, you just don't want to deal with all that drama. Apparently having a kid with a porn star, all sorts of stuff you'd be bringing in to Miami Heat. So I'm just saying, think about it, bro.
Yeah. I mean, but think about it. KD played his best defense when he was with who? Steve Kerr.
And Steve Kerr, yeah.
Golden State Steve Kerr.
You don't have the pieces around you like he did there.
But Miami is a team that's missing one piece. Miami doesn't have a lot of holes. Miami can get over the hump. Think about last year, okay, when we went to the finals. The Nuggets outplayed us by size. Straight up. We didn't have nobody that can combat with their scoring at all. And the one game we did steal, I mean, Jimmy Buckets went nuts in Denver, but of course, once again, he's burnt out. And everybody's seen that old GIF, that picture of him leaning over the scorer's table in the bubble. Like he has to have somebody that can alleviate the scoring pain off of him. Tyler Hero, too up and down. He can get off at certain points, but like he's not. Last 2 seasons, he hasn't gotten off like he did in his rookie year. In half of the year after that, because I think he got injured during his second year, if I remember correctly. So, like, he needs somebody else that can score. The beauty of it is that KD won't have to do as much in Miami. Phoenix did not have a defense whatsoever, and they had no business putting that team together, by the way, with 3 dominant ball handlers, 3 dominant scorers. That team had no business even making it to the playoffs. No business. Where in Miami, defense is set. Not saying that you don't have to play defense because that's the culture, that's the expectation. But you won't have to work as hard. So I do agree with your point too, though. Like, we could get someone bigger to play in the paint because Bam can cover all 5 positions. We get Bam out of the 5 spot, get somebody down there that's proficient that can grab boards. Who knows, right? So Miami just needs to do something. Stop this pity-patting around, waiting on something to magically fall into our laps. No, we need to make a move.
Facts. Because, you bring up a good point. Bam's good in size. I'm just saying you might want to add a little bit more depth on the bench, with a little bit more size. And bringing in KD, too, would be pretty solid. But, again, even Sick brings this up. He says, I doubt KD would come to Miami. Is he willing to play second fiddle to Jimmy Buckets? He'd come for the South Beach.
Jimmy Buckets, I don't know. Him and Pat might have to have an MMA fight. So who knows? Who knows? Who knows if Jimmy Buckets is going to be around? So who knows?
Are you drinking the Rock Zoa drink?
Yeah, and I love it.
Where do you get that at? Like, I haven't even seen it yet. Amazon? Oh, you can only get it on Amazon?
No. You can get it at Amazon. You can get it off of CVS. Normally sells it. I'll hook you up, bro.
All right, then. That's what I'm talking about. Because I've been seeing him talking about it, but I haven't actually seen it. I just want to taste it. Apparently, the green apple is the best one or something like that. Is that the one? Okay. All right. So
this is only available on Amazon. Just Amazon.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to check this out. Even Ike says, well, he apparently called you Korrey. He says, I disagree, Korrey. You need Dame Dollar.
It goes along with the disciple Korrey name, so I will take it, Ike.
Ike, I'm gonna give you this just because you called him Korrey.
Shut your bitch ass up.
We're PG-13 tonight, damn it.
Say what again? Say what again?
Yeah, that with it too. Along with, we gotta bring us Y2J. This is for calling him Korrey.
Would you please shut the hell up?
Was that a total
surprise, motherfucker?
Oh, man.
Sick Diggy's sitting out there right now saying,
now, that is absurd.
Ike, Ike.
Let me talk to you.
Get it in check, bro. Get it in check. His name is Korrey, not Korreth. Where in the hell did you get that from? Especially when you click on the video in the description, it tells you his name. You're watching it on YouTube, especially. It tells you in the description. Ike's over there saying,
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no, no, to the no, no.
click the more button. Then you'll see in the description where his name is not Korreth. What in the hell is going on? Because, you know.
You guys want to hear a fucking story?
The story is this. Ike, get your stuff together.
The end.
Yeah. The end. Well, guys, that was definitely a great one. And Sick comes in and says, better not bring your kids, Dave Chappelle. Guys, that was another great round that we have had on this show so far. We're going to take our one and only commercial break. When we come back, we've got 2 more rounds, and they're pretty solid too, especially the last one. We're going to be talking about dumpster Pelicans and everything. We'll see you here on the other side of this commercial break.
In a world where chronicles of the past are brought to the streams, whether the content is relatable or completely beyond your realm of life, there is no shadow of a doubt that this show is absolutely full of shenanigans. Get ready for
D. Willie in the evening,
this Sunday at 10:05 p.m. Eastern,
exclusively on SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, look. Hey, stop playing games. Y'all already know. Go ahead and toss him some Willie bucks. Ain't nobody playing around. Hey, $ D Willie 87. Go ahead, hit him up on the Cash App, and go ahead and give him some Willie bucks. Look at Drew looking stoic, ladies and gentlemen. Stoic on that $10 bill. So go ahead, slide my man over some Willie bucks, and we good. That's all I'm saying. We good. How about some Willie bucks?
Drew Willingham.
In this case, yeah, you put the blame on Kyle Shanahan for apparently not preparing the team enough for the overtime rules, supposedly.
Cole Johnson.
Peyton was considered a winner, and he was the darling of all darlings for Gerald.
With a special appearance by Tyrone Alizé McDummy.
Ain't nobody calling me. Text. Delete.
Join these 2 football enthusiasts as they give you Total Football Talk. Live every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central on the SIRTOBA Media and the Comey Media YouTube channels. Oh, yes. The tradition, the pageantry, the spectacle, the history, the slut. Wait. I gotta rep my brother's stuff right. All my DMV soldiers, stand up! And welcome to the Commander's Gridiron Report. You want your commanders to be repped right? Well, D. Willie is your man. Commander's Gridiron Report. Every Tuesday at 11:05 a.m. Eastern, 10:05 a.m. Central on the SIRTOBA Media YouTube channel. Music by J. Cool.
Where my soldiers? Right side. Commanders. Where my soldiers? Left side.
Welcome back to the In or Out Sports Debate, episode 107. Myself and Korrey, man, are back. As you saw during that commercial break, you saw some fire. You saw some action. I saw that look on your face during that Tyrone Alizé McDummy ad right there. You know you like that part right there. And the delete part with Matt Hardy after that.
Oh, it was hilarious. It was hilarious, man.
Yeah,
Gold.
Cole crushed it with that one. Yeah, Cole did that one in the Commanders commercial. Got to give him credit where credit is due on that one. But during the commercial break, we had a couple comments. Six says, "Who doesn't love Chappelle's Show?" And I don't think I've ever met anybody who doesn't love Chappelle's Show, to be honest.
Me neither.
Chappelle's Show. Now, Ike says, "That Tyrone Alizé motherfather gets me every time." That was great. Cole absolutely crushed it. That absolutely crushed it. And guys, speaking of crushing it, we got to get to round 4 and crush that one too. See what we got in store for the greatest of all time to wear number 7.
Round 4.
And here with round 4, going back to the Atlanta Falcons again there, Korrey. Michael Vick is the greatest athlete to ever wear the number 7 in all of sports history. What are your thoughts with this one? Do you agree with this one? Is this one tough because of your liking for the team and what he did for you in the past before everything went down? Or do you just definitively have a better number 7 than Michael Vick here?
So, as I was preparing for this show, Drew, I have a little bit of Falcon bias. I won't lie. But Michael Vick is the most electrifying player to ever wear number 7. But is he the greatest to wear number 7? Absolutely not. I'm out. You have John Elway. You have Mickey Mantle. You even have Cristiano Ronaldo, who wore number 7. But the one that stands out to me the most, even though he's a cheater, is Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds, 0.298 batting average, 762 home runs, which that record still stands. Am I correct on that, Mr. Willingham?
You are definitely correct.
Still stands to this day. Almost 2,000 RBIs. And check out this career highlight. A 14-time All-Star, a 7-time National League MVP, an 8-time Golden Glove winner, a 12-time Silver Slugger Award, a 3-time National League Hank Aaron Award winner, and a 2-time National League batting champion. There is nobody on this list that compares to those individual numbers. We ain't say team. We said the greatest to wear number 7, which is an individual. There is nobody on this list who, you may have some great names. As I said, Mickey Mantle, John Elway's numbers is fantastic. I mean, I could go on and on and on. Pistol Pete, Ben Roethlisberger, even though he wouldn't have touched my list. But Barry Bonds, and I was able to watch part of Barry Bonds' career as a kid and see him hit that 762nd home run and, watch part of his career as he, bulked up and, went through the scandal he went through and all this stuff like that. But, I mean, history is history. Somebody still had to do it, regardless of what we classify it as, what we look at it as, the asterisk beside it. Nobody has come close to it since. Nobody. So I have to give it to Barry Bonds, unfortunately. Fortunately.
You know it's coming.
Come on with it.
You know it is coming right now. I agree with you being out. I disagree on who you chose, but I'll just go ahead and agree with the out, but disagree with who you said it is coming. I'm out. Bruh. Barry Bonds wore number 7 for his rookie season. That was it. That was it. He didn't accomplish a damn thing except for being a rookie with number 7. After that, he went to 24 because that was his godfather, Willie Mays' number. And then when he went to the Giants, after he left the Pittsburgh Pirates, couldn't be 24 because Willie Mays was retired as 24 with the Giants. So he had to be 25. He was number 7 for 1 year. For 1 year, he was number 7. You got me in super promo mode now, Mr. Mann. I'm in super promo mode, throwing the ones up, because for 1 year, throwing the one up, he was the number 7. Number 7. You put up some great stats for Barry Bonds. You threw up some great stats for, was it Barry Lamar Bonds? Barry Lamar Bonds is what his name is. I had to go Kyle Nash for a second and bring out his whole name. Whole name, Barry Lamar Bonds. Number 7 for 1 year. His rookie year, damn it. He was the number 7. You talk about some great accolades that he pulled off when he wasn't wearing the number 7. You know who was wearing the number 7 when they were legendary throughout the entirety of their career? You know who was? Mickey Mantle! Mickey Mantle was a 20-time All-Star. Not 14 times like you were talking about. Got 6 more times. 20-time All-Star. Now, I do agree with you for not picking Michael Vick. I know it was tough, being you are a fan of the Atlanta Falcons. However, when you think about it, I can't believe you picked Barry Lamar Bonds, a dude who wore the number 7 for his rookie mother, father, and season in 1986. He did not wear that number when he was juicing, or even when he was great before he was juicing, or anywhere else in his career. He couldn't put 24 on during his rookie season because he was too young. He wasn't old enough to wear it. It's kind of like when you wear diapers and you're not old enough to get out of them yet because you're not old enough to be potty trained. That is what it's all about right now when comparing Barry Bonds and Mickey Mantle's numbers here. Mickey Mantle, 20-time All-Star. And guess what? You know something Barry Bonds couldn't do? He won the World Series, and he did it 7 times. He won the World Series 7 times on a bum leg. Kind of like Cole Johnson says about bum leg orthopedics. And some same thing about Sick Dickie saying that in the chat. Bring up that ad if you would, Sick, so I can read that ad. But what I will tell you right now is, no, it is not Michael Vick. And I wholeheartedly disagree with your choice of Barry Lamar Bonds, the greatest to wear number 7 rookie year. Didn't do a damn thing. Now you have Mickey Mantle here, who is a 20-time All-Star, a 7-time World Series champion, a 3-time AL MVP, a triple fucking crown winner, a Gold Glove Award winner, an AL batting champion, 4-time league leader in home runs for the American League, the AL RBI leader. His number 7 is retired by the New York Yankees. Oh, wait, is Barry Lamar Bonds' number 7 retired? No, because he was a rookie when he wore it. You, sir, are wrong here. And I hope the fans tell us in the comments how wrong you are. You've been waiting an hour and 15 minutes for me to get this amped up. And no, I did not die. We are still here. We are live.
Drew, I'll tell you what, man. Can I just be honest? Can I just be honest?
Yes.
I didn't want to choose Barry. I just wanted to turn you up.
And it worked. It absolutely worked. Holy it. You worked us. You worked the match. We just did promos. We killed it. This is why everybody, this is why all of you right now are tuning in to
SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
The struggle might be there, but you don't know it.
Man, that was so hilarious, man. I could not hold it. I tried.
Bro, I've been like the past 24 hours, all 3 of these shows, I'm gonna have fun clipping out content from all of them. Like that was great. I could, as soon as I said we are live and I stopped saying what I was saying, I knew we had just done something great there. You guys tell me in the comments. I mean, am I full of shit or not? Let me tell me. We are PG-13 right now, so I said a few extra words that would make us PG-13.
It's all good.
So
I mean, I really honestly wanted to pick Elway because he did win Super Bowls. He is almost a part of that 60,000 yard club. You know, I think he said 56, 57,000 yards. I mean, and what he was able to do left-handed as a quarterback. You don't see that a lot throughout the year. So I was leaning towards Elway, to be honest with you. But this one was tough, Drew, because
Elway is right-handed.
Oh, Elway's right. I'm thinking about
Steve Young.
Steve Young. Thank you. I'm thinking about Steve Young. But either way, like I was thinking about Elway, but then like Michael Vick was a culture changer. When he hit the league, a different brand of quarterback came out. To the growth and to the detriment of the position. Because then when people started looking at black quarterbacks, the only thing you look at them as can you run fast?
I mean, Randall Cunningham, Warren Moon were the only notable black quarterbacks before that, besides Doug Williams, who was the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl, and that was for the Washington, formerly known as the Redskins. Just get over it. We said it. It's not a cuss word. Kiss our rear ends. It is what it is. It honors Native Americans. I don't even want to hear that. But back to that, still, those were the only three names you really heard in the conversation. And you know that back then until Michael Vick came out. And now, 20 years later, a little over 20 years later, there's been a huge change in the culture with that.
For sure, man. And, I just wanted to pick it, man, just to get you turned up. And it worked so magically.
Hey, I applaud you for that. That was great. I mean, you apparently created your own.
You guys want to hear a fucking story?
You created it. You did great, bro. You might be MJF here.
You may claim to be the best in the world, but I'm better than you. And you know it.
Now take that creativity, since you're MJF telling me that, and bring a show to the airwaves. Motivational speeches.
Spoiler alert, there is one in the works.
I don't want to give away anything. I will let you give that information out when you are ready. But the last time we were here in the comment section, before we move on to the final round, talking about how he was loving Tyrone Alizé every time. And Sick added that, saying Tyrone Alizé McDummy is going to be touring this weekend citywide because of his singing. It's a 1-minute clip, and Cole started playing the crap out of that during a few episodes, and then we had the delete clip. So one time he played it, it got like it did in that commercial where it got like a few seconds in, and I clicked delete, and then ever since then it took off. So he starts singing for a few seconds and then delete, because we don't want to see that. Like, that's how it
hilarious.
You gotta take it out. So Six said he is out on this one. Vic's legacy isn't without the controversy.
That's true. That's true.
When will we see Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame? If you did, it won't be with the number 7.
Never.
That was probably the calmest I said that during this entire show.
I mean, he'll be the first one inducted into the Hall of Fame with a letter, a L, because that's what a big L he took, a big ass L doing that dumb stuff he did.
Yes, he did. He took a big stinking L, like a huge big stinking L. I wish I had that on this one. Like if you see on Total Football Talk Cole's clip of the L, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about taking the L right there. I'm about to ask him if we can use that on this show at some point. Six says, I can name plenty of men who've worn the number 7 when it comes to soccer. Cristiano Ronaldo is one. He was on that list. But over here in America, I'm trying to at least be as politically correct as I say. Baseball and football are higher up on the tier of what Americans watch as far as sports than soccer. I mean, I don't have a problem with watching it, and I really get into it during the World Cup. I mean, I think there's a lot of people out there that get into it during that time. It's higher stakes. There's a lot more on the line, a lot more bragging rights, right? When it comes to soccer, and that's only every 4 years. So it's kind of like the Olympics. We got the Super Bowl every year. That's the big game. We got the World Series, which is 7 games, 4 out of 7. So those are bigger events on a bigger stage. So that's probably why the viewership is the way it is when it comes to those things. Dante says, Vic is the greatest number 7 of all time. You can say Elway. I think he says isn't. Meant to say isn't. because you could say Elway, etc., but you wanted to be Vic. Yeah, there was a Cunningham and a Flutie, but Mike was different, that ultimate. So, no, actually, he's saying he is the greatest of all time. And, dude, I'm saying there are people out there that say he is the greatest, mainly for what he just said right here. Because when you were younger, you were 20 years younger, back when Michael Vick first came out, we were still technically in school. I mean, it's towards the end of schooling, or at least not much left. But even then, if you were playing football, you wanted to be Michael Vick. Like black or white, you wanted to be that type of quarterback because, like you said, electrifying. He could run the ball. He could throw the ball. He was fairly accurate with throwing the ball too. In certain situations, he wasn't, but for the most part, he was pretty dependable. He was consistent enough to where he played well at Virginia Tech, to where he was the number 1 overall pick in the NFL. So, I mean, I see your point, Dante. I think certain generations of kids, age groups, backgrounds, whatever you want to say, they probably will agree that he is the greatest. But when you are a football enthusiast or someone that really loves sports and you really dive into it, not just when you look outside of it, which Korrey knows with this type of statement here with the greatest to ever wear number 7, it's the whole scope of sports. It's not just within one sport. So the sport, what your impact, all that makes a difference. Yes. But the sport itself, and that being the fact that Mickey Mantle, 20-time All-Star, won a million World Series, and your choice wasn't bad either. Even though I disagree. Yeah, it was terrible. Barry Bonds, yes, it was absolutely terrible. I do like how you did it on purpose, so that is funny. I word statements on here on purpose to get reactions out of certain people, so you spun it around on me. I appreciate it. Just like I put thought into it, with statements you put thought into. And 6 says, I didn't think Drew Willingham would turn into the Iron Sheik on this one. Quartet just made humble. Korrey just made him humble.
So this is the third different name I done got. I done got Korath, and now I'm Quartet. Like, what are we doing here?
I like Korath better out of the two. Like, it took a little bit extra. He had to put a little extra into it. He had to put the TH in there. Like, he tried.
Cool.
Tried pretty hard. Maybe he tried a little too hard. But Dante says Vic was a victim of bad general managers, very bad coaching. They literally told Vic to just play, and if he went to Philly or St. Louis, he would have the rings.
No, and I'm sorry. Like, I gotta fully disagree with that because Michael Vick got in his own way. Ultimately, that's not an excuse to the stupid Petrino and the others that were there. I think that was during Matt Ryan era, but those coaches that were there like previously, like that. I agree. Atlanta could have did some things. Atlanta did make it to the playoffs. He did knock off Green Bay in the divisional round. I mean, he did some things during his career in Atlanta. His talent didn't develop in the way that he should because he didn't really become an accurate quarterback until he came back and went to Philly. That's when he really became a quarterback, right? So, like, his years away from the league made him grow up. Michael Vick was not grown up in Atlanta. Let's just call it a spade a spade. So it took that terrible of a situation. I hate that it happened to him the way that it happened, but he needed to be accountable for his own actions. Plain and simple.
I still think it's wild the man had a PlayStation 3 in his jail cell.
Crazy.
Yeah, like I didn't know that they allowed like a situation. He had like it's like only like a 13-inch like flat screen TV. And then he had a PlayStation 3, which was hot at the time. It was only PlayStation 3 at that point. And I remember seeing a little clip of them showing his old jail cell and him going inside of there. This is when he was back in the league and talking about in between the Falcons jail and out here. And they showed that jail cell and him up there being able to play PlayStation 3. I thought that was absolutely nuts. Like that they allowed that. But hey, if you got money, and of course he was probably paying into it kind of like a canteen, I guess you got enough money, you can have stuff like that. So this goes to show. Here it goes. I knew he was going to do it. This rant by Drew Willingham is brought to you by Bum Leg Orthopedic. The only thing keeping Anthony Davis's body intact. That's Bum Leg Orthopedic. Oh, my leg. Oh, my leg. Oh, my leg. Oh, my leg. If Elway was on that Falcons team, he's Phillip Rivers. Ouch.
I think it's a little disrespectful. I think that's a little disrespectful.
Dante throwing shade.
I get where he's coming from, though, because Denver did have some hella weapons. Like, and I won't take that away from what Dante is getting at, but I think it's a little disrespectful. I do. I think, we need to put some respect on Mr. Elway's name, because somebody got to get the ball to all those weapons.
Yes. And around the same time that Dante posted that, Sick was putting the other end of his commercial ad read on there. And Bron Dairy, the best dairy made from 100% organic seal milk. Bron Dairy. It's seal clapping good. Bron. That's a commercial they had. Bron Dairy.
What in the world?
It's some Snowman in the Morning stuff. But Bron Dairy, it's some bron-sexual stuff. Let's just reel that back in. Yeah, that's probably the best way to break it down. Korrey, we all said things, and we was very wrong. Says Dante Hill. Yeah, that's fun. Vic is the greatest number 7. The entertainment and culture changes has literally changed the game, and you have to be a mobile quarterback in the NFL now.
Most of the black quarterbacks are cerebral.
Oh, my brother, testify.
Look at it. I mean, look at the league stats now. Look at the league 5 years ago versus now.
You can't handle the truth.
He literally put Virginia Tech on the map. I think a lot of people forget that. No. Not necessarily. Bruce Arians put Virginia Tech on the map in the 70s. Remember, he was the quarterback for Virginia Tech back in the 70s. There were some other great players that came out of Virginia Tech, too, that played in the NFL. However, as far as his generational talent and for the things that he was able to pull off in the NFL in the short time before he did get in trouble, I would agree with you that he did elevate them. But I wouldn't say that he put them on the map. Virginia Tech was already on the map beforehand. It's kind of like, I would say putting someone on the map is kind of like what Coach Prime did with Jackson State, putting them on the map. Like that's more putting on the map than what Michael Vick did for Virginia Tech. Did he elevate their platform a little bit? Yes. From what it was, I'll give you that. But he didn't put them on the map, though. So it seems Korrey agrees with that, too, as Korrey was just made humble, he said. Oh, because of the number 7, Barry Bonds. Here we go again. No, now I know that it was a work. I mean, I can't go so hard. But no, I was playing into it. That was definitely fun. Yeah, but Vic is, especially at that time, any CEO would have been in fan mode.
I guess.
All right, then.
Talking about him being in prison with the PS3. So, yeah, I mean, any correctional officer, of course, would have been in fan mode, and he slipped him a couple $2 or whatever. But Vic was broke at that time, too, by the way. We don't remember that part.
Yeah,
he lost his property and all that. So,
it could have been the CEO was in fan mode, and it was like, hey, I'll bring in my PlayStation 3, or that way you can play yourself on Madden, because you can't play it in real life anymore. You can play it in this jail cell, like pretend to do woulda, coulda, shouldas. Go work out, come back, play yourself. Instead of playing with yourself, you're playing yourself. There it is. That's how it is in jail. There's another clip for you guys when it comes to the great stuff.
The shenanigans has officially made an appearance.
We've been having so much shenanigans throughout this episode. It has been absolutely great.
Yeah.
Got one more segment, though, to cover. And if you thought the shenanigans were great, we're going to take it up to one more level for the final round coming up next.
Final round.
And here with the final round, LeBron James will become the biggest dumpster Pelican player head coach if given the opportunity. Keyword if. With that being said, how you feeling about this one, Korrey, when it comes to Bron, the seal milk, the bronze sexuals, everything mentioned? Do you think he'll become a dumpster Pelican player head coach?
You know I'm in on the flop. Daggone well, I am in on the flop. And I really don't even have to get into it. It's because you depicted it perfectly in your graphic, Drew, with the Pelican on top of the dumpster. I call it a dumpster fire, right? That whole video with Darvin Ham, thank you, sir. Look at that. And then he got 2 trash bags right beside it. He just need to put himself in that. If we're even considering this, we need to put ourselves in that dumpster, in that bag. I mean, it is ridiculous to even think that this is okay. But the problem with LeBron, and the reason why, let's look at Miami again. The reason why he ain't stick around Miami is because Pat probably won't putting up with that shit. He said, no. You got to get up out of here with that, fam, because if you think you about to do what you want to do, no. And what he was doing was stunting the growth of Eric Spoelstra. Eric Spoelstra going through what he did has made him into this outstanding coach that he is now.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with LeBron is that he claims he wants an outstanding coach, but he wants a coach that he can control as well. He might not be involved with the conversations about who is coming in or not. But come on, man. That whole video with Darvin Ham coming up with a play and he's like, give me the board. Give me the board. Like, who are you? Who are you? I don't care if you're, some people's mind, the GOAT, and you have had a stellar career. Nobody can take that away from him. The man has had a stellar career, one that I would love to have myself. But guess what? We all have a role to play. You have a head coach for a reason, fam. So I wish I would go to, the place that I work at and tell that person that runs that place, hey, give me your keys. Give me your keys. They gonna look at me like I'm crazy. Like, bro, no, this is my building. The flop done flopped too much, Drew, and he done flopped and bumped his damn head. So that bald ass head, he done did that. So go ahead, man. Go ahead. Go ahead. I can't.
There's no way, no how that we are going to disagree on this topic. I am in. If you're just tuning in to my programming for the first time ever, you will know that I am a huge hater on bronzesexuals and everything that involves around LeBron James, especially when you think about the fact, just like Korrey said, LaFlop, there was a video game back in the day for Android iOS called Floppy LeBron, just like Flappy Birds, but the remake of that, well, the spinoff, the parody, but with LeBron's head with the headband on during his Miami Heat days, and you were just flopping around like LeBron would. Now, if you think that he's going to be some great player head coach, you are drinking way too much of the Kool-Aid, and you're probably the ones out there, the same one, think that he is the greatest of all time. All this other crap. No, he is not the greatest of all time. And if he is given the opportunity to be the player head coach of the Lakers, the Fakers, whatever you want to call them, or any of the other teams in the NBA, he's going to flop on his ass. He is not going to do a good job. Because when you get down to it, in the heat of the moment, just like when he argued with Darvin Ham in those moments in the playoffs and other moments throughout this season, even if you bring JJ Redick in as your assistant coach because he assists him on his podcast, it would just be easier to have him as the assistant because then you wouldn't necessarily have to fire him if you do a bad job, that being LeBron, if he's the player slash head coach slash general manager, even though, like you said, he wouldn't be the one making the necessary moves right away because it's not in his contract, and that would be way too much control to give to LeBron anyway. I think the smarter move, if you do make this happen, would be to bring in JJ Redick, because at least on their podcast, the two of them do break down the X's and O's pretty damn well. I'll give them that. Will that transcend into being a great NBA head coach, player head coach? Probably not. Middle school head coach, probably do great coaching in middle school, bunch of 12-year-olds, hell, maybe even high school basketball, but not the NBA while you're still playing, because there's a different respect level from a full-out head coach who's seasoned than somebody who's a player head coach, because this same person who's the player head coach still determines if you get the ball or not. Like, in the plays, yeah, the head coach can draw up the play, but if you're guarded or open, it still determins if you get the ball or not. You could be open, but you piss LeBron off because you didn't like what he said as a coach. He ain't going to pass to you. Even though he is leading the team in the assist, he might decide to be petty and pass it somewhere else. And especially if it gets 2 points or 3 points, he's going to look like the hero in that moment. You're going to look like an ass. This is how it's going to be. But in this moment right here, when you think about he's going to be a dumpster Pelican player head coach. Oh, hell yes, he's going to be a dumpster Pelican head coach if given the opportunity. Why? Because every other coach that's come into LA during his tenure, he hasn't been able to work with, and he's not going to be able to work with himself. And that bubble championship deserves an asterisk. It's all I'm saying when you think about the Lakers winning back in 2020 during COVID times. I agree with Korrey. Not taking anything away from what he said. We're on the same page. If you get the opportunity, he's going to be a dumpster Pelican. But you would be wiser to not make this decision and make him a player head coach.
And that's all that need to be said.
There it is. And speaking up on this, Six says, we weren't there for the shenanigans, Korrey. There have been shenanigans throughout the entire show. Absolutely.
You're right, Sick. He's right.
Spot on. LeBron is my wife's son's baby's father's uncle. What the hell did I just read?
You should know your role and shut your mouth.
Yeah. You need to go to a corner. Find your nearest corner, Ike, and put yourself in it. 5-minute timeout.
That and this.
Stay off the weed.
What?
Stay off the weed.
In case you needed to hear it a second time, bro. Like, that was a little bit much. LeBron is my wife's son's baby's father uncle. I had to make sure that I read it right the first time. Six says, this is the NBA, not the set of Space Jam 2.
That's facts. Facts.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And with that, that's 5 rounds we have gone through tonight on this program. And with that being said, we now have to take this into the next part of it. It's time that we acknowledge something. We acknowledge something at the beginning of the show. We acknowledge it at the end of it, as always. Korrey gets locked in the vault one more time.
Acknowledge me.
With that being said, the In-Or-Out Sports Debate Vault of Fame brought to you by SIRTOBA Media. The leaderboard is as such. Korrey moves up into 4th place from 5th place to 4th place, tying Dio Darrell Owens for the 6th appearance on the In-Or-Out Sports Debate. Not many appearances away from getting into double digits, and we will achieve that at some point in the near future. We have to make it happen, especially now that you are a 6-time Vault of Fame inductee with episode 107. That you can find this show on Facebook, Instagram, X, and on YouTube, as well as the hopefully soon updated SIRTOBA.com. But again, 6 times on the show for the leaderboard there, and right here, 6-time Vault of Fame inductee. Welcome back there, brother.
I appreciate it, man. That's really cool, man. That's super cool.
Anytime, my man, as we now roll into one more thing. Final word. Now the final word, with everything we've been through a lot of shenanigans on this show. Throughout the 5 rounds, just did the Vault of Fame, did a lot of stuff in this past little over 90 minutes. What are your thoughts as we round out the show here with the final word, my man?
So just a couple of things, man. A great, great man once said, "Be the color red in a world full of black and white." Again, if you aren't living under that dumpster Pelican, you would know who quoted that. I literally live my life that way now. I have shared that quote with classes now that I do teach. And, I want people to realize that it is okay to be yourself. It is okay to take care of yourself. It is okay to think about yourself. Other people will come, people will go, people will stand by you, people won't, etc. Don't forget yourself. Take care of yourself. Take care of your mental health. If it's too much, step away. It's okay. It's all right. Don't be like LeBron and try to take on too much. Don't be don't be Vic, and have the whole world in your hands, no pun intended, and then lose it all because you can't get your mind together. Take the time to take care of yourself. In today's world, especially, more than any time in human history, with everything that's going on, prices going up on everything, life isn't getting no easier. Take time for yourself. Be happy. You have one chance at this life. And if you don't take that chance in life, what is the purpose of living? What is the meaning? So I wanted to take this last couple of seconds and give some flowers to my brother over there, Mr. Willingham, on 107 episodes of the In or Out Sports Debate. If you have not subscribed to the SIRTOBA Media fam, what are you doing? Content all over the place. And Drew has been a really good friend of mine over the last few years. We met kind of on accident doing one of these sports shows. And as he stated earlier, we really grew our bond off of our our connection through Bray Wyatt. And I want to say, Drew, I appreciate you. I appreciate all that you do. I appreciate your hard work and how much you stay at it, man. Continue to be consistent. I've got no doubt in my mind, when the time comes, you are going to float and be on a different level than some of those. So, man, y'all check my guy out. Check out Drew.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Definitely a very, very heartfelt messages here at the end of the program, and I definitely appreciate it. And, the things that I pulled off with this program in particular wouldn't be possible without you, the 6-time Vault of Fame inductee here on this show. Not many people have gotten to that many episodes on here for a reason, whether it's timing, whether, the chemistry. You saw the interaction we had in the chat tonight. We did all that plays part of it. The energy you bring here, and especially knowing when to get me revved up like you did earlier. That was great. And I loved it. And with my final word, of course, thank you again for being here for now the 6th time and the other things we've done together out here on these streams. It's always good to see everybody, doing great and moving on up, and especially, persevering through the struggles out here. Like you said, sometimes you got to step back and take a break with certain things. And I did that thing. I did the same thing with this show. December 18th was the last time the show was on until last week. And now this is the second episode we've had in a week, based on scheduling. A lot of things had to work out. Whoops, sorry, camera. A lot of things had to work out, timing, scheduling as far as things going on around it. The real world definitely throws a curveball on things. Sometimes you got to do what's best, work what's in front of you, and you can only fix what's in front of you. You can't worry about other things that have nothing to do with you. So that's a message for the wise too. But when it comes to this 107 episodes, man, just glad to be able to still be here and still do it, for one. But for two, just to be able to still put out this great content, have great people on here like Korrey this week, Kyle last week. I got brother Hugh Scott and Brandon Guy next week. The week after that, there will be no show on Memorial Day because I have to work. But, between you and I, my career pays me extra hourly to work on holidays, and I'm going to get that extra money, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm not contesting that. I'm going to work on Memorial Day, okay? I don't have to work every holiday. It's just I got 4 this year, and that's one of my 4. It's my first one. So I know we just brought this show back. We're only going to be 3 episodes in, then we're taking a break again, but I promise it's only going to be for 1 week. We'll be back the following week. But look forward to seeing what comes about with the upcoming episodes, how the summer pans out with this and the other programs that we have in here as well. Just like the commercials showed you, check out D. Willie in the evening, Sunday nights, 9:05 p.m. Eastern. No, 10:05 p.m. Eastern time. My apologies. And Mondays, Total Football Talk, 4:00 p.m. Eastern time on SIRTOBA Media as well. And this show, the Inter-Out Sports Debate, 9:05 p.m. Eastern time on Mondays. Those are the three shows I will mainly be producing each and every week for the foreseeable future. But again, to Korrey, to all of you out there in the chat, Sick, Mickey Delaney, you got Dante. Dante was huge again tonight too. Every single one of you that stepped up here in the comments, but man, Murray, and also the people that you brought in too. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you haven't watched this show before, and if you haven't seen this before, give us a subscribe, give us a like, hook us up. Check this out. Korrey will be back here again with this and maybe more. We'll see. But when it comes to that, we have now gone through 107 episodes of the In or Out Sports Debate. There's only one thing we have left to do, Korrey, and you know what it is, and that is look at one semi-badass outro. Everyone, as always, please stay safe out here in these streets.
SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
You don't have to go home, but you got to get on up out of here. Thank you for tuning in to 107. We'll see you next week for 108.